At this time, I want to thank you all so much for joining us for our student demo day. This event and really presentation today is going to help you navigate the All Majors Career Fair that is happening on Wednesday. We're really excited to have you all participating. If at any point you have questions about the event or anything that I'm sharing, please feel free to add that into the chat. We'll be navigating those throughout the entire session and making sure all of your questions are getting answered. I'm going to go ahead and transition to my first slide here. And so this is just our agenda of what we're going to be sharing today. We're going to be talking about what we recommend that you do before the career fair, what we recommend that you do during the career fair, and then also after. And then we have a few FAQs that we've heard from students along the way. And then we're really going to open it up for questions and see if anybody needs any more information to feel comfortable in the event on Wednesday. So here we're going to focus first on before the fair. And so really what we wanted to share on this slide was how you log in. Many of you have logged into Cougar Pathway before. And if you have not, just some basic information, you're going to log into your Access UH account, that general account for all students. You're going to see an icon that looks like this one, and it's called Cougar Pathway. So if you've never logged in before, you now know how to navigate to that. For those that have, go directly to Cougar Pathway and you're going to log in. And this is what your home page is going to look like. You're going to see on the left-hand column side where it says Home, Jobs, Profile, Documents. That fifth one down says Events. And that is where all of the events that are hosted by University Career Services live. And so if you click Events and then Career Fairs, you're going to see this page that comes up with the list of the 2 upcoming career fairs. The first one listed there is our All Majors Career Fair that is happening this Wednesday. And the next one is our Energy Career Fair that is happening on October 2nd. So that's how you're going to log in. The next is as soon as you click on that event where it said All Majors Career Fair, this is the page that's going to open up. Things that I really want to point out here. The first one is your chat profile. And so you'll see that on the far right-hand side where it actually says chat profile. You'll see that little circle there where you can add a photo if you'd like, and then it gives you information that is connected to your major, your classification, and any information that you've put in your Cougar Pathway account. I'm going to transition over to the section where it says Overview, Employers, and Positions above the About Us. The Employers tab that you see there is going to be the listing of all the employers that are participating, and the one next to it is going to be where all of the positions that are posted and available for you to apply for are going to live. So this is really what the homepage looks like for the virtual career fair. It's quite simple at this point, and then the next steps are as we transition into the attending phase and what we recommend that you do in order to prepare. So the next one is that recommend that you RSVP/attend. And so the first bullet that you see there is to click the attend button. If I transition back to here, above the chat profile, you can see how the attend button is red. That means that I have not attended this event yet or RSVP'd. You can think of attend and RSVP as the exact same thing. And so what we are going to recommend is that you click that attend button first. What's going to happen is your chat profile is going to come up. We want to recommend complete your chat profile at this time. And so what that was going to look like is exactly how the screen shares here. You're going to be asked to submit a resume. We do recommend that you have a resume for this event. And when I say recommend, it's really highly encouraged. That is the only way that you'll be able to share your resume with an employer. So we highly recommend that you have a resume in the Cougar Pathway. If you have any questions about the resume or getting it prepared, we do have virtual chats available for all students during this entire week. So Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, 10 to noon and 2 to 4. So technically there is a virtual chat that is going on right now until 4 p.m. So if you need to get your resume approved and uploaded into the platform, you can log into those virtual chats. They will also be available tomorrow, again from 10 to noon and 2 to 4, for you to get that information for your resume. So you will need a resume for this career fair. As you can see, this is your chat profile. As soon as everything looks good here, you're going to go ahead and click save, and you will be RSVP'd or attending this event. Think of RSVP and attend as the exact same word. Let's just say, you're looking at your chat profile here and the information underneath is not correct. So let's say maybe your graduation date is wrong, your major is wrong, or you want to update any other information that's listed, you do have that option. And so this slide is showing you where to update that information. What you're going to do is, again, back on the Cougar Pathway homepage, you're going to see the left-hand navigation. You're going to go to My Account and then to the Academic section. And then what you'll be able to do is to update your account information here to really truly reflect your major, your classification, and any information that's important to you. And then you'll just go ahead and click Save, and that will update your information on your chat profile. So again, if this information is wrong, you have the ability to change it within your My Account and then your academic profile. Happy to answer any questions about that as well. What I will share is that this feed comes in from PeopleSoft, and so we know sometimes you may be in the process of changing your major, or maybe your graduation date has changed. That's why we want to allow you this option to change this information so it truly reflects what you want the employer to see. Hang on. After you've attended, you filled out your chat profile, you have your resume uploaded, you are ready attending the event. This is what it looked like. Again, the event is not live at this time, but this is again what the platform would look like for you. We do recommend that you check out the participating employers and positions. And so this is the way that we would recommend doing that. You will see on this page where it says employers and positions, I click into the employer tab and it's going to pull up the listing of all employers that are participating in this event. We would really recommend that you star the employers that you're interested in. This is really a cool feature within Cougar Pathway and this virtual platform, is that employers can actually use the star feature and then reach out to you. So it's basically you are stating to them, hey, I'm interested in this company, and then they're able to collect the students that are interested in them and then reach out through email. So we would highly recommend that you star your favorite companies so that you can make sure that you're participating in that event. So I'm going to pause here. That was the information related to the before, the things that we recommend that you do before the career fair. Just wanted to see if there are any questions from the chat. I'm going to pull that up really quick. See if there are any questions. I see some of my colleagues have answered, which is awesome. Let's see. All right, I think we're good. I don't think that there's any other questions that are in the platform. I think we're all on the same page at this point. So everything that I shared up until this point is what we would recommend that you do before the career fair. So meaning before the career fair on Wednesday, we'd like you to go in and RSVP/attend to make sure that all that information is correct, including your resume and your chat profile, as well as starring those employers to make sure they know that you're interested. I did just see a question come through. Could we update our resume? Absolutely. So I'd recommend logging in to those virtual chats and making sure that if you need to update your resume, you maybe get somebody to check it out really quickly for you. If you already have one approved resume in Cougar Pathway, you're more than welcome to upload another one, and that will automatically be approved. It's just your first resume that requires it to be approved. Why does your chat profile always say offline? This is a great question. This is because the event is not live yet. However, it will be on the day of the event from 12 to 4. And so that is a super great segue into this next section of what we recommend that you do during the career fair. So I want you to think of the during as the 12 to 4 p.m. of the actual career fair. And so transitioning back to the slides here really quick, I think my colleagues will be able to answer some of this information. So I'm going to continue on. So what we're going to recommend, again, we log into the platform on the day of. The exact same way you got in is the exact same way that you RSVP'd and clicked attend is the exact same way that you're going to get in. It is in Cougar Pathway. You don't have to go anywhere else externally except for your video, which we'll talk about in a second. But as you can see, number 3 there is at this point, as soon as you log into the platform between 12 and 4 p.m., your status will be able to be changed to online. And that is the first thing that we recommend that you do on the day of the event or during the event from 12 to 4. We want to make sure that employers know that you're online. So that is going to be our first recommendation, is to click your status to online. And you'll be able to do that through your chat profile. The next section is, again, we're going to recommend that you go to the Employers tab. As you can see that it's highlighted here. And this is where you're going to go ahead and start engaging with employers. As soon as you get into the platform, we recommend going here to see who is available and who is online. So now you are in the event, and we've gotten a lot of questions about what students do as soon as they are in. So again, you're on the homepage here, you're not really sure where to navigate to. We are going to recommend that you again go to that Employers tab, and we want you to know that you have 2 ways to engage with employers during this virtual career fair. There are 2 ways. Okay, I'm going to go into those specific ways in this next section here, but please keep in mind that there are 2 ways for you to engage with an employer. So the first option is through a one-on-one chat. I want you to think of that as you and the employer. You can kind of think of it as an interview if you want to, because that's kind of what it is. But you're going to be talking one-on-one the same way that I'm sitting here talking with you one-on-one. There won't be other people, but you'll be able to chat one-on-one with that employer. So that is going to be the first option in the way for you to engage. You're going to click into that specific company that you're interested in, and you are going to see those 2 options. So I mentioned option 1 is the group, or is one chat. And as you can see where it says join queue, I've kind of squared out that box there. That is where you're going to click to join the queue or get in the line for a one-on-one with an employer. So you would click that. And then what's going to happen is that potentially there could be other students in line. So when you click that join queue, it may say, hey, there's a 10-minute wait or a 15-minute wait. And you will be able to see that as soon as you join the queue. The next section is that as soon as it is your turn to video chat with an employer, so let's say again you had to wait maybe that 10 minutes, and as soon as that 10 minutes hits and that employer is ready for you, you're going to get a little alert or a pop-up, and it's going to look exactly like this. So the name of this company is Flory Flower Company, and as you can see it says they are ready to chat, and then I'm able to go in and participate in that one-on-one chat with them. If you are the first person in the queue, you won't see this alert because you will automatically be jumped into the queue, and the employer will be able to pull you into that one-on-one conversation. The next section here is that as soon as you join the queue and the employer accepts that and you are the next person in line, they are going to accept that and they're going to ask you to join a chat with them. This is a really cool way for you to engage with the employer. So section here that you see is the actual chat instructions for that employer. And as soon as they've accepted your chat and they say, hey, we want a video chat with you, you're going to see this section. And what you will do is you will click where it says video chat instructions. And as you can see for this one, it says join Microsoft Teams meeting. And so what you will do as a student wanting to chat with the Flory Flower Company is click join Microsoft Teams meeting. And what's going to happen is it's going to create another window for you to virtually chat with that employer. Again, this will be one-on-one. Nobody else in the call. It'll just be one-on-one with you and the employer. So you'll go ahead and click that, and then that will start that one-on-one chat. You'll be able to see this timer a little bit up here. We're going to talk about that in a second, but each company is only allowed a certain amount of time to video chat with each student. So that's just something to keep in mind. The second option, so again, remember I mentioned that there are 2 options. We talked about the first one, which is the one-on-one, you and an employer. The second is going to be a group chat. So this is with you and other students as well as that employer representative. So you could think of it as our chat or our video call that we're doing right now, except it will be more open and you will be able to ask questions and engage with the employer. We do want to let you know that not all employers are doing this specific aspect. Some have chosen to just do one-on-one, which is totally their decision. Some have chosen to only do the group chat, and some have chosen to do both options. So we want to let you know that if you don't see the group chat option, that means that that employer is not participating in that way. Now, if you do see that, one of the cool things about this is that you can get in line or you can join a group chat while you are waiting in line for the one-on-one. So again, let's say maybe you're waiting 15 minutes to chat with that one employer. You can go ahead and get in a group chat and talk with the employer and other students at that time. And so again, it's going to be the exact same way. Instead of joining the queue, you're going to join through the group chat feature. It'll pull into, again, that instruction page, and you will see the instructions to join that group chat. We do want to let you know that as soon as you click that enter, you are going to be going into that group recommend being ready, prepared as soon as that happens. There will not be a wait time in between that. All right. So here are a few tips that we would recommend. We want you to be prepared to answer questions about your major, why you are interested in a specific company, and about your experience. Really think this is important. Really great information that we would normally share in an in-person event is going to be the exact same that we would share during a virtual event. The employers you are waiting for, and again, you can get into a few different kind of chats we'll talk about in a second, but the employers you're waiting for are going to show up in the upcoming chat section, which is on your home page there. So you'll be able to see who you're about to chat with, and then how long it's going to be until that person is ready for you. You can get into 3 queues or 3 one-on-one chats at a time. So let's say there's 4 companies you really want to chat with. I'd recommend getting in the line or for those other 3. And then as soon as you finish that other one, go ahead and join the queue for that other employer so that you can get in that line as well. But it's up to 3 at a time. And then I also mentioned that there's a timer. So you would see that homepage and you would see that timer section that's up there. This is really the employer's responsibility to keep track of time, but we do want to make sure that you are mindful of this and concise with your responses. If you see that you have about a minute left, making sure that you're given some of that best information and being responsible and respectful of that time as well. A few more tips that we'd like to share. While you are waiting in the one-on-one chat, I mentioned this already, you will get a notification, but here are a few things that we just want to note. As soon as you see the alert, we'd ask that you'd leave the group video call before clicking the join chat. What's going to happen is that may kind of throw off some of the videos, especially if you're doing both Microsoft Teams for both of those. So we really would recommend that as soon as you see that chat pop up for that one-on-one employer that's ready for you, we'd recommend that you'd leave your group chat and then click the join chat in order to participate in that way. When you're done with your video, this is also important. You want to click the end chat option. And again, I can go back and I can show you where this is, but one of the is that you can also take notes on the employer. So let's say you have a really great conversation with an employer and you want to make a few notes in there, like, hey, I had a really great conversation. Here is some information that I learned. Go ahead and add that in there. This is completely private. The employer will not be able to see this. No one else will be able to see this. It's only for you. But it would be really helpful when you go to write those thank you notes or to do that follow-up, because you can say, you can go back to the actual information that you remember from that interaction. Please note that if you leave Cougar Pathway, you will lose your place in line. So what we are recommending is that you have 2 windows up, one with Cougar Pathway and one with whatever that video platform is that the employer is using. Okay, I'm going to pause here again and see if we have any questions from anyone. I can definitely see that my colleagues are answering some things. Let's see. Here's a great question from Ellen. If the employer likes you, would they encourage you to apply for one of their positions? My question is really about the language phrases that. Okay, so this is a great question. So a few options here. So again, if we go back to the before, one of the before recommendations was to star those employers. So anybody that you star is going to automatically be able to send you an email and say, hey, we've looked at your resume and we're interested in you. Another option would be for them to see your resume in the grouping of all the resumes that are submitted, and then they would be able to individually message you and say, "Hey, we recommend that you apply for this position." And so that would be a way for them. I'm going to go back a couple of screens here to show. So to answer your question, Ellen, when you see the positions tab that is next to the employers, that is where all the positions for all of the employers are going to live. So if you say maybe one of the employers there is Alliant Group, if you're interested in Alliant Group, their position will be connected to their account, but it will also live in that tab. I hope that answers that question. Let's see, what happens if I'm on several queues and 2 companies are ready to chat at the same time? So that's a good question. If it's a one-on-one, that will not happen. And the reason that won't happen is because there is an algorithm built into the platform that will not allow you to be on 2 at the same time. What will actually happen is that, let's say, whoever company A is grabs you first or invites you to join that queue, you will automatically turn to red and you will not be available for that employer to invite, for employer B to invite you. It'll just bump you down to the next, so you do not lose your spot in the queue, you do not lose your spot in the line, but it just says, hey, this student's not available, and then they'll move on to the next student, and then they'll come back to you. So it's definitely an option there. Let's see. Will the only video platform be Teams? This is a great question. Thank you, Darby, for asking this. We are recommending that our employers use Teams because as you students are more comfortable and more, you use Teams a little bit more and you may be more comfortable to use that platform. But they may use anything from YouTube, WebEx, Blue Jeans is another platform. And so I know that that can be a little confusing. And again, that's just going to be something we're going to have to navigate, but we are highly recommending that they use Microsoft Teams. And we've seen quite a few that are using Microsoft Teams. We would still recommend that you have, Zoom downloaded if you can do that so that that's ready. Really the two main that we've been seeing are Zoom and Microsoft Teams. I know Donna is on our call right now and she's actually managing the event. Donna, if you can add in maybe any of the other platforms that you've been seeing employers add in for links, that would be great. But I think the two primary ones are Zoom and Teams at this point. Let's see, were we able to find recording? Yes, so this is being recorded, and so we will be adding it to our YouTube channel as soon as we are done here today. I'll try to grab that from stream and upload it into our YouTube channel and make sure that we can share that as well. So please check that out tomorrow morning and we'll make sure that we have it up by 8 a.m. tomorrow morning. Let's see. Thanks, Don. I'll add it in our link to our YouTube channel, so that is where we will have it. And as I mentioned, we'll have it up by 8 a.m. Okay, excellent. So Donnell is adding in there WebEx, Teams, and Zoom are the three primary platforms that we are seeing at this point. Great. All right, I'm going to move on to a few other items here. So after the career fair, these are the items that we would recommend. There's only a few, so not a whole lot to do after the event. But as somebody mentioned before, my status shows that I'm offline. If you have changed it to online during the career fair, we ask that you change it to offline when you leave. This will remove you from any queues that you are currently in, or queues meaning lines. So kind of however many lines you are in, if you change your status to offline, you will be kicked out of those. So please only do this if you are leaving the event. When the event is over, any of those notes that you added in for employers, as well as the representative's name and email, will be accessible to you. So you can use that information for any follow-up or any thank you messages that you want to send. And then the last piece of advice is we want to make sure that you apply for those positions that are in Cougar Pathway. There's tons of opportunities in there. We've been approving them, and we're really excited to share those with you. So those are the only after. There's not a whole lot that you have to do with that. So I'm going to jump into some FAQs. These may answer some additional questions that you've had. These are questions that we've been getting from either our colleagues or from other students, and I think these are really helpful as well. What if I have an issue or a question during the event? This is super important. We have built into Cougar Pathway and into the event, right next to the chat profile, you're going to see that little I. If you click on that, you will be able to jump into a video call with a person on our team. And so you don't have to leave the platform to go in and try to find us or anything. It is directly built into here. As soon as you click that I, a little box will come up and it's going to give you instructions. For students, we will be using Microsoft Teams. So again, you'll click on that link and it'll open you up into a group chat and you can ask our team any questions. Please think of this as kind of like a help desk. We want to make sure that we're able to answer any of your questions and make sure that you feel comfortable on the day of the event. So please know that that is available for that information and to help you. What happens if you missed your one-on-one video call? Unfortunately, you'll have to get back into the queue. And so what I specifically mean about this is, let's say an employer invites you to a one-on-one, and unfortunately you don't see it, you don't click on it to join. they're going to move to the next students after a couple of minutes. So if you do miss that, we're going to ask that you get back into the queue. Or let's just say, unfortunately, maybe your internet's a little unstable and it kicks you out. You will have to get back into the queue. We do recognize that is not ideal, and I'm sorry for that. We're all trying to navigate these internet issues and aspects related to that. I've also had issues myself, but that is what you'll have to do in order to get back into that line and to chat with that employer. A few other questions. How do I find out who is hiring international students? We are going to encourage all students to look under that job posting section and check the work authorization. And so that will allow you to know whether the employer is open to hiring or sponsoring or supporting international students through that work authorization. And then the last one is, hey, I got an email from an employer. We want to say yay. This is great because, as I mentioned, this is one of the features of this platform that an employer can directly reach out to you. And it means that they're interested. So we would recommend that you would either go get in their queue or get in their group chat to make sure that you have an opportunity to talk with them. You can also email them back and engage in that way, but please know that they're reaching out to you because they're interested in you and they want to chat with you. So we would highly recommend that you jump into the queue and chat with them. All right, that only took about 30 minutes. I'm going to open it back up and see if there are any other questions for our students. So I'm going to stop sharing. Actually, no, I'm going to keep it up just in case I need to go back to it. So let me see a few questions that are here. For certain positions, where do I find the apply button? It should be up at the top section. If you click into the job posting, there should be an apply button near the top that literally just says apply. If you happen to see a job posting that doesn't have that, please email our team. I'm going to have Donnell put the Hire UH email in here. So if you see any positions that do not have the apply button, please email hireuh@uh.edu, and then you can reach out to us and let us know if you see any of those, because we want to make sure we get them checked out and can answer that. Employers will be getting our resumes beforehand. Yes, as Donnell shared, your employers will be getting your resume beforehand because when we talked about the things to do before the event, your RSVP/attend is allowing you to submit your resume beforehand. And so our employers are logging in these past couple of days. They've been logging in and looking and seeing if they're interested in them and the resumes that they've gotten. So we love this. We love the fact that an employer is going to be able to kind of see your resume beforehand and maybe have some questions prepared for you. If you're not qualified. Yes, so I'm gonna have to get back with you on that because I think if you're not qualified for the position, it says that you're not qualified. It doesn't take the button, but I'm gonna get back with you on that. Donnell, so you must be eligible. Yeah, I think there is something though that says you're not qualified or not eligible for the position, and we'll check on that for you. So please, if you can message me, I will get that checked out for you. Go ahead and send me a chat. I'll follow up on that for you. Let's see. Will it be automatic or do we need to submit them to the specific? It will be automatic. Automatically, all employers will be able to access your resume, but when you get in the queue, that employer in particular will be able to see your resume. So you're not really physically needing to hand it to anybody, physically or virtually. It will all go through the platform. They may say, hey, I wasn't able to get a chance to see your resume. Can you attach it in the chat or can you email it to me? That may happen. I don't want to say that it'll only be through the platform. There may be some of those additional things that happen, but please know that they have access to it through the platform. How long does it take for a resume to be approved? Great question. So we usually say 2 to 3 business days. What we would recommend at this time, though, would be for you to jump into our virtual chats. I keep saying jump into those, but what I mean is join our virtual chats. Those happen Monday through Friday, 10 to noon and 2 to 4. If any of our counselors are on the call, would y'all go ahead and grab that information and put it into the chat so that our students can see that? There's instructions for how you log into the virtual chat. It's on our main homepage. All you'll do is you'll see the little live chat button there, and you'll be able to join a chat with one of our career counselors. That is what we'd recommend. If you're seeing delay in getting your resume approved, or let's say maybe you've submitted it, but it's been denied, we want to make sure that you get that approved as quickly as possible. Thank you, Jamie. And Adalia, thank you. Let's see. Natalia, sometimes what else? Yeah, so Natalia, sometimes that does happen due to the eligibility. Can we choose that option? So the options that we have set are those two specific work authorizations. If you don't align with one of those, I'd recommend reaching out to the Hire UH email. We'll check on your account and reach out to you independently just to chat and which one's going to work best for you. For the OPT, it still will be the international student one though, but we're happy to chat with you offline about those specifics and making sure that you feel represented in that information. Yes, okay, so Reba, this is a great question. And if you're a comp sci major, I know that this does happen. And so our team tries to go in and catch these things because comp sci, we know it falls under NSM, and sometimes employers don't know that. So again, if the employer has not mentioned your major, please reach out to our team at Hire UH. And we are happy to go in and check that specific position. And if we need to, we can reach out to the employer and say, hey, we see that you have not selected comp sci. Would it be okay if we added that major? We're happy to do that for you. We recognize that sometimes they miss those majors and we want to make sure everyone is represented. So absolutely, we are happy to do that. Thank you. Adalia and Jamie added that information regarding the resume reviews. And thank you, Jamie. So this is our resume template. We ask that you use this exact template when you are uploading your resume. Really, I'd recommend joining a virtual chat if you have any questions about your resume. That is going to be the quickest and easiest way for you to get your resume reviewed and potentially approved. Can't guarantee approval because we do have some for that, but we really do recommend that you go to those virtual chats. You do have the option to schedule an appointment with a career counselor, but we do know that they get backed up quite a bit, and so the virtual chat is another avenue for you to meet with somebody on our team. Don't think I see any more questions in the chat. Does anybody want to unmute themselves and ask a question? I'm happy to take any additional questions.
Hi, yes I do.
Okay, go ahead.
So if we're not able to have our resume approved beforehand, is there a way for us to reach out to the employers?
So not before the event. Unfortunately, only they can reach out to you before the event or during the event. You can see the listing of them in there and you can apply for any of their positions beforehand, but you cannot actually like message them or anything beforehand.
Okay, thank you.
No problem. Eduardo, did you have a question? I see your hands raised.
Yes. Hi. So the question that I have is that I submitted already my resume, like maybe I think the last week, and I got it as not approved. And yet when I try to download it to see what I need to improve, I don't see any comments. So how can I know what did I do wrong and what do I have to change?
Yeah, that's a great question, and we do get this a lot from students. So what will actually happen is when your resume is unfortunately denied, you will get an email that lists the potential reasons for why it was denied, but we get hundreds of resumes every day and we can't individually go in and provide that feedback. Most likely it's one of those items that is mentioned on the email, but we recognize that not everybody is checking that and getting that information. So really what we recommend is those virtual chats. I cannot say that enough. That is your quickest and easiest way to get in contact with a career counselor and get that approved. So they may be inundated right now because I'm talking about them so much, but they are going to be online until 4 p.m. today. So if you want to jump off this call and you're like, hey, I got the information I need, I'm going to go get my resume, reviewed, they will be online until 4 p.m. today. If not, back online at 10 a.m. tomorrow, 10 to noon, and then 2 to 4. So that is that information. Hope that answers the question, Eduardo.
It does. And can I ask a follow-up? Just
Sure.
Since I noticed that Jamie at some point here in the chat, she posted how to chat with a virtual counselor, but then yet when I was following the instructions, it only like 2 people appear for my options in the filters, and then it didn't appear like no one from today till tomorrow. So I was wondering if I'm doing something wrong, if it has to be to a Google Pathway, or is there any other platform?
Yeah, you're not doing anything wrong. What that means is, can you tell me the 2 counselors that showed up for you?
Yes, totally. The 2 counselors that show up for me, I'm so sorry if I butcher the name. It's not my intention. Cassandra and Chelsea and Chelsea.
Awesome. Okay, so the 2 that are showing up are the 2 counselors that have availability. but you will have a specific career counselor that's connected to your major. But when you look at those specific counselors, and then also if somebody else does come up, you do have to keep your availability open. So don't filter it to say like a specific hour. But what I will share with you right now is that our counselors have their schedules are quite full. So probably probably nobody is going to show up for this week. So that is why we recommend those virtual chats. It's the same thing. It's just providing you a quicker avenue for that. And our counselors only put in their time and their availability a couple of weeks in advance. So you're not for the entire semester. It's usually only for a couple of weeks, and they put in those specific hours that are there. I do see some of our counselors are putting in some comments in there, so if you want to reach out to any of them, let's see.
For sure, we'll do. Thank you so much.
Yeah, no problem. I hope that answers your question. Let's see. Anybody else have any questions before I jump into this? Anybody want to unmute themselves and ask a question?
Yeah, I have a question.
Okay, go ahead.
So I'm just wondering because in some of for us that are applying for internship positions, we're seeing that we have some jobs saying work authorization required or sponsorship, visa sponsorship. So what does that mean for us international students that are new students? Because like myself, this is my first semester in U of H, and I'm Canadian, by the way. So I don't know what that means, because at times some of the jobs you don't have to apply because you don't understand what that means.
Sure, that's a great question. Thank you for asking that. So under the work authorization, we currently have two options that are available. One of those is going to be for US students as well as DACA students and those that have permanent residency. So that is one option. The other option will be for those that are international students that do need sponsorship. And so we have those two designations, and then the employer, based off the positions that they have available and what they're looking for, they will pick one, two, or both of those. And so when you see that it's the employer that is choosing that information, we are more than willing to reach out to them to see if they have any changes or adjustments to that. But we are seeing that it is a little bit of a challenging time for international students to secure those positions, but we're happy to help you. We would recommend scheduling an appointment with a career counselor to maybe make sure your resume is really solid, and then to talk about networking as well. I will also give a shout out. We do have some career counselors that specifically focus on international students and do programming with the International Student Scholars Office. So I'd highly definitely recommend reaching out to ISSO and seeing if they have any programming that's available. And then we do also do some career programming with them as well. I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, so my point is, so that means we are not supposed to be applying for anything at all, because since we have those only for the US citizens and permanent residents, so for us we don't need to be attending all these career fairs, because since we can't be considered, right?
So I can't speak to all the positions that are listed in there right now, but if the position is only recommending or only allowing for US citizens, DACA students, or permanent residents, that is correct. That means you cannot apply to that position.
Okay.
But there are definitely positions that are available, and we would recommend looking for that other work authorization. Please reach out to your career counselor or log into our virtual chats, and we're happy to speak further about that as well. All right. Does anyone else have any questions? I can't quite see. I think there are a few hands that are raised, but I can't see you, unfortunately. Anybody want to unmute themselves?
I'm sorry. Hi, can you hear me?
I can, yes, go ahead.
So under Cougar Pathway, there are some companies that have like 0 representatives. Are they attending or no?
Yes, so they are attending. That is a really great question, and thank you for bringing that up. That just means at this point they have not added in their representative information, but our team behind the scenes is working really hard to make sure we get that information in there for you, and it will be ready, and you will see that information by Wednesday at noon.
Okay, thank you.
All right, I'm going to go back to the chat really quick. Let's see. is there a structure for the group meetings? Like, will it be more networking with recruiters? Great question. And I think Donnell just mentioned this as well too. Each employer will plan how their group chat is organized. We don't have the ability to know, hey, they're going to do structured questions or they're going to have it free flowing and you can ask whatever you want. It's really going to be up to that employer specifically, but we do anticipate that it's being very similar to how this event is going, where students can kind of come and go, ask questions, the employer can respond and really give them some great information. We do think that some employers may have slide decks or information to share with you through a PowerPoint, so that could definitely be an option, but it is ultimately going to be up to the employer. Are there more jobs available than are listed in Cougar Pathway? So I'm not quite sure. I'm going to take your question as I think that it is. Are there more jobs available than are listed in Cougar Pathway? So Cougar Pathway is not your only option to look for job postings, but it is a great one. And so we do recommend that you check out the employer's website. So to speak to that question, absolutely. We would definitely recommend that you check out their website to see if there are any additional opportunities. Please don't be afraid to apply in both Cougar Pathway and that company's website. That's totally fine. We want you to get your application out there and for them to get to see you. So the quicker you can do that, the better. So yeah, the more applications you submit, that would be great. Let's see. Is it all right to video chat in your bedroom? Good question. I would say depends on what your background is going to look like. We highly recommend that you have a neutral background if possible. And I would really recommend probably jumping on those video chat or those virtual chats with our team and asking some of those questions. If you feel comfortable, you can always share your background and say, hey, does this look okay? I would, recommend something just kind of neutral like mine is. You can also add in one of those backgrounds, the UH backgrounds, I think would also be really cool. So whatever you feel comfortable with, but you can absolutely do that in the comfort of your own home. We just want to make sure that that background is going to be something that is not taking away from any information that you're going to share. Appearance. Yes. We would recommend that you dress professionally the entire way down. So we don't want to do something where we're half professional, maybe suit on the top or professional on top, but then pajama bottoms on the bottom. We would recommend, dressing completely. The reason for that, the reason we recommend that is that it gets you into that mindset and you feel like you're at a career fair. If you have slippers on or you have on your PJs or whatever it would be, you're still not feeling like you're really at a career fair. And we know that it's going to be in the comfort of your own home or wherever you can be. We want to make sure that you feel professional and comfortable and ready. It may make you feel a little bit, tight, like it's not as comfortable as it would be in pajama bottoms or anything like that, but it's definitely going to make you feel ready and professional. So we would recommend definitely, that professional appearance. If you have any questions about professional dress, happy to answer those. But we have some information and some resources on our website for what is appropriate professional dress. I'm going to ask them if any of our counselors are still on to grab that information on our website regarding professional dress so that students can kind of see what's appropriate. I think that would be really helpful, and that is on our website. So let's see if there's any other questions. Hopefully that answers your question. Would we need to wear our shoes? Charles, I would recommend wearing shoes. I would, because I think it puts you in that mindset, but ultimately it is going to be completely up to you. But if it was me and I was wanting to put my best foot forward, I want to make sure mentally, emotionally, I am prepared for this event, and that I realize that it's actually a career fair. So I would also recommend, some people may say, hey, I'm more comfortable and I'll be more comfortable at the event if I don't wear shoes. Ultimately, it is totally up to you and whatever is going to make you feel comfortable. We would recommend full professional dress. See, somebody didn't really like that, but that's what we would recommend. Let's see. Do you prepare for the career fair? Do you go over the favorite list and ignore positions? Yep. Sorry, one second. Okay, so to prepare. Yeah, so, John, to your question. I'm sorry.
This is Donnell.
I don't know.
Hi. I think John was having a follow-up. He had asked if all the positions were added in Cougar Pathway, and I said there are still a few employers that are adding in positions. We are pestering them as much as we can, and we're going to get those in for you. But I would still go in and favorite the employers. You can still let them know and then check on the positions tomorrow, because they should all be complete by then. Okay, that's all.
Thanks, Donna. I appreciate that. Eduardo asked if we feel like we had a nice interview and we clicked with the recruiter. Would you recommend we send a LinkedIn message? Absolutely. That is always a really great thing to do. Using that LinkedIn in your networking, great suggestion, great idea. Again, using the notes feature within Cougar Pathway after you complete that call, maybe add some things that you talked about so that you can make that LinkedIn message a little bit stronger. Instead of just saying, hi, we chatted at the University of Houston All Majors Virtual Career Fair, you can say we chatted and I really appreciated how you shared with me a little bit more about the position and I look forward to applying, or something more specific about the conversation that was a trigger for that employer is really helpful. But yes, definitely recommend LinkedIn for that. Let's see, sit or stand? That's a great question. I think that's going to be up to how comfortable you are and wherever your computer or your webcam is. So for example, I don't have a standing desk, so I am sitting, but I could stack some stuff up if I wanted to stand. But ultimately, I think it's whatever you are comfortable with in that sense. That's a good question. No problem for joining late. How do you know which company suits your major? So that's a good question. What we would probably recommend is doing a little bit of research on the employers that are participating. And so you'll go into that employer section and you'll be able to click into their profile. Every employer is going to have a website. So you'd recommend that you log into their website, see what the company is about. We really recommend doing that research beforehand so you can prepare some questions for that employer. We know this is a little bit different than an in-person career fair, but we still recommend that research and being prepared to have that conversation. Are the positions only major specific, or some available to minors too? That's a good question. So I would say at this point, a lot of the positions are going to be more major based. But if you do have a minor that you think really fits in with the position, I would recommend getting in that employer's queue or their group chat and sharing that with them. You can say, hey, I was really interested and I saw your position. I'm minor in X, and I really think that it would be relevant to this position. I really think it's a great asset that I have that'd be able to contribute to your company or to that role. So I definitely think you can share about that. But the job postings that are currently in there are more major related. Oh, I like that. Definitely. When you dress professionally, it boosts your confidence as well, too. So definitely you want to make sure that you're doing that. Let's see. Jamie added in some information about the career fair preparation worksheet. Excellent. So that would be a really great resource as well, too, for you to do any of that research with that company beforehand. And we got Charles to dress professionally. I like it. All right. I got through all the chat. Does anybody want to unmute themselves and ask any questions? We have a few minutes left. No. Are we good?
Hi.
Hi.
This is Nabil. I wanted to ask on how I could join the virtual chat without an appointment, because I don't see the appointment, counselor appointment on the Cougar Pathway.
So you broke up a little bit, Nabil. I couldn't quite hear all of that. Can you go ahead and add that into the chat? I want to make sure that we answer. I think it was related to something about your career counseling appointment.
Yes.
Okay. Do you have one scheduled, or are you trying to schedule one?
I'm trying to schedule one, but I want to see if I could get in without an appointment, like a walk-in. Yeah,
so our walk-ins or our drop-ins are now our virtual chats that happen every day, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday from 10 to noon and 2 to 4. So we'd recommend using those as your walk-in or your drop-in appointment. Absolutely.
Okay.
How can I join? Join the resume workshop you mentioned, which is today. So we don't have a resume workshop. We just have our virtual chats that are 10 to noon and 2 to 4. So that would be the opportunity. And the way that you can do that, Jamie just added in that comment there. So thank you, Jamie, for that. All right. I don't know if my resume has been approved. You would know your resume has been approved if you log into the platform and it'll actually say approved. It may say pending if it's not approved and it's still being approved, or it would say denied. And so you can log into Cougar Pathway and see that under your document section to make sure that it is approved for sure. How likely is that the career fair is for? Oh, that's a good question, John. I think that the employers are not really going to be on after 4. You may still be in a chat or two, but we really don't anticipate it going past 4 p.m. You know, in our in-person sessions, we ask people to leave around 4 to make sure that we're respectful of that time. But if you're still in a conversation with that employer, I would assume that they're going to finish that and then transition and leave the platform after that. But the same way a student goes online, you will also see the employer go online or offline. And so that will allow you to know whether that employer is still there or not. That's a good question.
Can I interject something real quick?
Please, yeah.
So I just wanted to encourage everybody that came out today. So glad you did. So here's a little tidbit that I think you should take away is be sure to show up to the career fair, if at all possible, a little bit early and wait for it to open or right on time, because some of the queue wait times, the line may get a little long. So I think that's why it's important to research maybe your top 3. So you already know when you come in, okay, I want to get in queue with company X, company Y, company Z. And it'll just give you kind of that early bird feel as well. But I think it would be great for everybody to try and come right as the career fair enters to get in those lines.
Great. That's really great advice. The sooner you can get in, the better. Let's see. Charles had a question. How many companies will be able to interact with during the fair? So you'll be able to get into 3 lines or 3 queues at a time. Outside of that, it would be however many you can manage. You know, at a normal career fair, we see students interact between 5 to 15 companies. I don't know how feasible that will be in this virtual environment. This is all really kind of new for us. So we're not exactly sure how that's going to manage itself. But I would love to hear from you after. Again, I shared this is the first time that we've done a virtual career fair through Cougar Pathway or through this platform. And so again, any feedback that you do have for us, we would love to hear that. And so I'm going to type in again this hire UH email at uh.uh.edu. If you have any feedback, if you have any questions prior to the event, please reach out to us. Somebody from our team will respond and make sure that your questions are answered. I want to make sure that you get that information. Jamie's given some advice there about how folks can log in. Let's see, Trixie here. Since I came late, I missed the walkthrough of how the actual career fair goes. Yes, so this is being recorded, and so we'll make sure that gets online to our YouTube channel by 8 a.m. tomorrow. I additionally want to share that everyone should have gotten an email today. That was the see who's coming and information about. And then attached in there is actually our instructions for the event. And so I'm going to try to do something really quick and see if I can actually add it into the chat here, because that might make it even easier for y'all. Let's see here. Sharing instructions. Those are going out now. Excellent. So if you get that email that we sent out today, or you did and then you missed the attachment, it is in the chat and it is sending right now, so it'll take a second. It's 2 pages, and specifically what it is everything that I've kind of gone over here in an additional template, additional form, so you can see that as a PDF. So let's see, we have a few more questions. Thank you for the YouTube channel. I've watched it sometimes. Oh, I love to see that. Thank you, Ellen, for sharing that the YouTube channel has been helpful for you. Someone had their hand raised. Yes, I would love if you can unmute yourself, or if you can tell me who the hand raised person was. Was it you? Yes. No. Can somebody either like or love the instructions so I can know that they went in there? Can somebody like those for me, that they're showing up? Excellent. Thank you. Thank you. Love to see that. Oh, look at all the love. Okay, I love it. Okay. Oh, the person never put their hand down. Okay, good information. All right. YouTube channel. What's the YouTube channel to watch? Yes. Can one of our career counselors on the career counseling team, can somebody throw that back in for us? Excellent. Thank you, Donna. Okay, so excellent. Donna, I'll just put in the link in there. So that is our YouTube channel. So please log into there and check out any of those videos. Will the CS Career Fair be the same? Yes. Yes, yes, yes. The CS Computer Science Career Fair is going to be in the exact same platform. So exact same information runs true. To make sure, because you mentioned it, if I want approved, we can update it. Yes, you can update your resume. Please do not remove the first one that got approved. If you remove that first one that got approved, you will go back into the line to get your resume reviewed, and we don't want you to just kind of sit there. So keep that one resume that was approved and make updates to it, and then re-upload that into the system, and it will be automatically approved. Yes, exactly. It'll be the exact same. Employers are going to have the exact same information, and same for the students. So yes, the career fair will be the same. You are not able to download the PDF. Go ahead and email HireUH, and we will get you a copy of those PDF instructions to make sure that everyone feels comfortable for the event on Wednesday. So I'm going to see if there's any more last questions. Can we make an updated resume the default? Yes, you can. Great question. Yep. Just go ahead and then select it from the drop down and you can make that your default resume. Yeah, the transcript's a little bit tricky. If you, let's see, I'm trying to think of the best thing to do for that. I think you're probably going to have to one-on-one chat with a career counselor, or you can email HireUH. But there are specific size restrictions for the transcript, and so sometimes you need to do the compressed file in order to get it up there. So I know that's a little bit trickier, but if you feel comfortable to do that on your own, feel free to try it. And if you need any of that support of those questions, please feel free to reach out to us. All right. Any other questions? With the employers at the virtual career fair, can we discuss internships? Absolutely. So some of them have internships. Some are going to have full-time positions. Whatever you see listed are the positions that they've submitted in Cougar Pathway. But you can absolutely ask if they have any internships available if you're not seeing anything there. If you see one, we would recommend, asking about that. But if you don't see any listed, absolutely. Just say, hey, I'm looking for an internship and wondering if you have any opportunities. You can also check their website to see if they have any listed. But definitely, it's really going to be your time and your space to ask those employers some questions to really understand what opportunities they have available. All right, we made it. I think we sort of finished within one minute. I'm glad that this demonstration and this tutorial was super helpful. As I mentioned, it is going to be online by 8 a.m. tomorrow on our YouTube channel. We've added in the YouTube link that's there. If you have any other questions, please feel free to reach out to our team. We really look forward to seeing you all on Wednesday, and go Cougs! Bye, everybody.